you guys doing? It's Mr. Straight Facts, the Mr. Straight Facts Show. Today, Donald Trump is in the White House with the Prime Minister of Canada, one Mark Carney. And before I go into this, I remember when President Biden, I was old enough to remember that they said this man was cognitively declining, right? Even though he held more of a actual common sense conversation with you. Biden is a stutterer. And as he's gotten older, his stuttering is coming back a little bit. So he would stutter, and Republicans, and ended up Democrats too, joined in a little bit later, would jump in on him because he's an older man where his stutter was coming back. So something's absolutely wrong with him. But if you ask him a sentence, ask him to give you a cognitive sentence, a structure, you know what I'm saying? Noun, pronoun, all that adjective, he could give it to you. He could literally say the car went down the street and turned left at the corner. Donald Trump like, car. It was a big car. It was a fat car. It was a big fat car. Went down the street. Down the street it went, and it turned, left to the left. And I think but it was a car. It was a great car. It was a lot of money on that car. That's how that fool speaks. And we were talking about Joe Biden stuttering, and they went in on Joe Biden the entire time. Hard. And where are the Democrats going hard on Trump speaking like a 4-year-old? Today, in the White House, I watched this man speak for a long time. And in his conversation, or his time to speak outside of Mark Carney, who actually had a fucking cogent thought, he came out and said something that mattered. And it was an actual sentence that I can understand. Donald Trump, you got to translate stupid to be able to hear what he's talking about. Because he's over here, over there, over there, over there, over here, over there, over there. He's never on a fucking real sentence. He's making no sense. Spewing numbers out of nowhere. But what is dude getting these numbers from? And then a minute later, the number's bigger. 30 seconds later, the number's smaller. He's talking about the same thing. I watched Mark Carney look at this man in pity when he was saying the things he was saying. He's like, well, there's nothing. The White House isn't for sale. And he's like, that's true. And Buckingham Palace is not for sale. Mm-hmm. Then Canada's not for sale. Never say never. Stupid. We have a stupid president. I mean, stupid. There ain't nobody on this planet that can tell me any different. Donald Trump is dumb. There is no doubt about it. Evil, maniacal, grifter, master grifter. Yeah, I give him those. I'm going to give you what you are. But smart, it is not. He goes after power. And anybody, I guarantee you, everybody who works underneath him, he has dirt on them somehow, some way. There is no way that these people capitulate this hard for a man they know is a dumbass. Everybody that works for him knows he's stupid. It shows in front of the camera. Behind the scenes, it must be horrible. He's putting on a show for us, giving us his best shot in front of a camera. Behind the scenes, I promise you. Remember, Reagan didn't even know his name, and they was pretending like this dude was still good enough to be president. Donald Trump is bad, y'all. Something's wrong. He's cognitively declining. We're going to watch a video I want you to see the entire 7-minute. One question goes on for 7 minutes. And this man comes up with nothing. It is a bunch of garbled words together. You'd have to be remedial as fuck to understand what he's talking about. You got to decipher and piece shit together to understand that this man is still talking about the same topic, but he don't went 48 different directions with it. We're going to watch it. We're going to watch it. And I'll let you see what's going on.
Some prices are going up. Tires, strollers.
That's the wrong interview. That's her interview. Why would that interview be up? Makes no sense. The audio's not working.
Not trading, we're losing nothing. So we're saving $1 trillion. It's a lot. But they want to negotiate and they want to have a meeting, and we'll be meeting with them at the right time.
But you haven't met with them yet.
I have not met with them, of course. You would know if I met. I'd tell you they want to meet, but
He's talking about China right now. They're asking him about China. But see, Donald Trump has already said he's had meetings with China prior to. Right? And he's like, that's what he's been saying. We've been in talks with China. They asked him, had he spoke to President Xi? I spoke with him. Yeah. Remember I told you, I didn't say that you speak to him ever in your life. Did you speak to him about the actual trade deals? He said he spoke to him. Yeah, I'm not going to go into that. This is what they're asking him as he spoke with him. And today he admits, I haven't spoke with him. Well, no shit, we knew that. But you said last week you did. You see what I mean? This dude is like remedial, cognitively declining. And they're allowing this dude to be president. It should be the 25th Amendment right now. This dude makes no absolute sense whatsoever. And this is in the camera when he's on point, when he's doing his best to make sense. Behind the scenes, this dude must be eating paste.
you know, we are right now. Look, they're suffering greatly. Their economy is suffering greatly because they're not doing trade with the U.S. and they made most of their money off the U.S. Don't kid yourself. They don't make the money off other countries like this. And they were making. We had a trade imbalance. We had a deficit, or they had a surplus. Another way of saying it, of more than $1 trillion. Think of it, more than $1 trillion.
All right, like I said, we're watching this because we're showing the cognitive decline of this man. He's starting off with $1 trillion. This is Donald Trump being represented right next to the Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney. And I am jealous that Canada has Mark Carney. I don't know Mark Carney, but Mark Carney can think straight. Mark Carney can give you a full sentence and make fucking sense. Our president looks like a bargain dumbass. I mean, it's just like, wait a minute, you're just a regular dumbass. I mean, no, you just super dumb. Something's wrong with the man. Just listen to him. This entire time, he's talking about multiple shits, but that wasn't the question asked. But he's continued down this path. He's going to tell you about this, the trade and everything. But he's going on with China. The numbers are going to amaze you.
And because of 145%, that's the only reason, but because of they have now 145% tariff, there's no trading. You can't trade with 145%. We are, therefore, making, in a certain way, I guess, $1.1 trillion. In other words, we're not losing $1.1 trillion. Our deficit is much better. When I started, I say we were losing billions of dollars a day on trade. That's rapidly turning around. We looked at numbers this morning. So we were losing, the United States during Biden was losing more than, I won't even give you numbers because they're so embarrassing, but billions of dollars a day on trade. Those numbers are rapidly turning between the tariffs. Don't forget, we're now getting 25% on cars, 25% on aluminum, 25% on steel, and maybe more importantly, massive numbers of companies are moving into the United States. Honda.
No massive numbers of companies. This man's literally talking about massive numbers of companies when these companies already have companies in the United States. He didn't mention any new companies. These are companies that were already in the United States. Things that they had planning to build for years. You got Apple. He's talking about that 500 billion. They had decided to do that years. It is a structured plan. They did 300 billion a few years ago. It's a new time coming up for them to do it again, and now it's 500 billion. It just happened to be under his presidency. He acted like, oh, I threw those tariffs on and it came. No, it did not. Go look it up. It did not. It happened under his presidency, which he happens to be president. And all these other things he's mentioning. Oh my God. It's just like these companies are coming in and it's like, dude, just go look up those companies. Please, I beg of you. Go look up those companies and you'll see they were already planning before Donald Trump even became president. Or they don't know what to do because they're trying to figure out with him being president, it's going to cost more. It's just, so they're just freezing. They're not knowing what to do. But let's keep going.
We have tremendous, the car companies are moving in at levels we've never seen before. The biggest investment ever made in the United States is being made right now. Trillions of dollars. I would say we could be at $9 trillion.
Who are we getting $9 trillion from? And he said, I would say. He don't have definites. I would say. See, the thing I think with Donald Trump, what he does is that because he wants to give you this shock and awe, he wants to give you just big numbers. Just big numbers. Just pulls them out his ass. Oh, I say $9 trillion. You think, Marco Rubio? 9 trillion? 9 trillion. Could be billions, but 9 trillion. You sure it's trillion? Oh, this dude. I'm telling you, it is ridiculous. This man cannot speak in a full sentence. It is ridiculous. 10 minutes of rambling, and you don't think this man is, you think this man has a cognitive, like his cognitive is together. He is declining big time. And he's been declining for years. When he was in his first presidency, why the hell do you think this man was person, woman, net, camera, car, TV? He literally thought that was an intellect test, y'all. To recognize a person, a car, a camera, and TV was an IQ test.
You could go back to other presidents. They haven't had $1 trillion for their entire term. Look at Biden. He had bad numbers. People were leaving. They weren't coming in. They were leaving with.
What? Bring up the numbers. He said, the trillions. Look at Biden. He had bad numbers. What's the numbers? You got numbers for everything on you, but where's the numbers? Where's the numbers? Because you just making this shit out your ass. Ain't no numbers to be made. Because the shit you're making up is just made up. There is no need to fact check him. He's lying. There ain't no need to fact check him. Ain't no need. The fact checking is done. Kaput. Done with it. There's no reason. The man makes up numbers. Absolutely. Just nowhere whatsoever can you find these numbers he's talking about. And his people don't care.
Biden, and he didn't know the difference. The only thing he knew is people coming in. You know who they were? Illegal immigrants, okay, from prisons, from mental institutions, from all sorts of places that weren't good, from gangs, from Venezuela. They were coming in and they were criminals and murderers, 11,888 people that murdered, and at least half of them.
Listen to him. Listen to him, y'all. Donald Trump. Listen, I want y'all to hear that again.
Murdered more than one. Coming in. They were leaving with Biden, and he didn't know the difference. The only thing he knew is people coming in. You know who they were? Illegal immigrants, okay, from prisons, from mental institutions, from all sorts of places that weren't good, from gangs from Venezuela.
Listen.
They were coming in and they were criminals and murderers. 11,888 people that.
11,888 people. He's off a little bit, but those numbers are not about immigrants. That's how many votes he needed to win. I need like 11,880. Is it an 80 or 79 or something like that? But 80 votes, 11,880 votes. That's how it is. He's talking about his voting for losing, and he's attaching it to immigrants. I mean, you can't tell me the 11,880 is the exact same number, that's the exact same vote that he needed. Woo. At least he can memorize his lies. His lies, it doesn't make any sense. This shit ain't making no sense. He ain't talking about votes. He's talking about the immigrants.
Murdered, and at least half of them murdered more than one person.
People.
This is what Biden led into our country. I'm bringing in big companies.
Murders.
We have Apple is investing $500 billion.
Doing it beforehand.
We have Jensen, as you know, is going to be 500 biggest chip maker.
This chip maker thing he's talking about. What you got to do is reality is look back and see. The reality is Trump can get some credit for the chip making situation, but not for him bringing him here. Donald Trump was speaking about it under his presidency. His people thought about doing it and didn't go through with it. They were talking about it. Biden actually got the bill passed and got it done. He didn't do shit but just come up with the idea of thinking, we may be able to bring chips back, whatever. We should do that. And his people dropped the ball and didn't do shit. Biden came in, thought the idea was a good idea. We need to pass a law, and that's how we got the CHIPS Act. And that's how these people decided to come, because of the CHIPS Act and getting these subsidies to be able to come here and bring the chips here. Now, regardless of Democrat or Republican, as I speak to Americans, this still is a situation when they talk about get America, it's not American. These companies are coming from other countries, mostly Asian countries, building their factories here, some of these factories here, right? And in that situation, those are computerized jobs. Those are high-end jobs where you're going to be bringing mostly people from India, from other countries, and bringing them here. Americans ain't going to pull these jobs. Most of these jobs in these particular factories, you're going to have to be bright. It ain't going to be no regular-ass labor. Ain't going to be no laboring, like union type. No. The only unionized gig that may be there, and I doubt it will be, is going to be maintenance, right? So what we're talking here is, let's bring a lot of maintenance jobs to America. Because in order for these chips to be worth a damn for anybody to want to buy them, because in China, Korea, and other countries, they can make them shits for cheap. You think it's going to come to America and somehow it's going to be so much extravagant that everybody's going to say, let's get from America because it's the best chip company. No, the American chip company is literally from Taiwan and China and other countries. We're just the place they house one of their multiple businesses. Wow. I mean, it's like, please think deeper than the surface. These surface level thinking people kill me. It's like, yo, for it to be American made America, we came up, created the chip. The wildest part is like, why aren't we leading in it, period? Why do we need a factory to come from Korea and also like that here when we created a chip? Oh, I forgot. We gave away a lot of this shit to other countries to make it. Then they learned how to make these chips better than we did. And now they're masters at something that we got the patents to. Just because these billionaires didn't want to pay me and you a living wage. They wanted to pay them slave labor so that they can make a lot of profit. And now, out of nowhere, they starting to give a fuck about Americans. They want to bring factories back. Wake up, America. Come on. How fooled can you be? How many times can these billionaires and millionaires keep fooling you? It's like a rat trap. They keep feeding you poisonous cheese, and you just give, that shit good. Then you find out it's poisonous. 700,000 people die by losing their jobs. And then all of a sudden, 20, 30, 40 years later, these billionaires want to make more money. And they keep feeding you this poisonous cheese. And you keep on walking up into the trap. Get jobs? No, you're not getting jobs. They're getting wealthier. They're going to bring robots. Your children are going to be working in these factories, and you're going to be broke. Not unless you go to school for this particular thing. And hello, that's what every Democrat has always been saying for the past, 20, 30 years. We have to create an industry in which we master, in which we're the number one, in which every country needs to come to us to do. And we've been trying to work on that. And every time we try to work on that, Republicans were always trying to go the opposite fucking direction. And then now all of a sudden they want to go the direction of creating industries. No, they want to mess everybody else's country up just so that they can bring back whatever they want to say in this country just to make money. But Americans are not going to see these jobs. Keep on dreaming. But all you got to ask yourself is, why did the jobs leave to begin with? Billionaires didn't want to give Americans living wage jobs. So therefore they went and took it away from us and made us have to figure out a way to survive. To this day, most Americans can't live off one paycheck. That's because billionaires did that to us. As they stacked their cheddar, we were sitting over here trying to find some. Because they put us in a situation where we were making $100,000, $80,000 in these factories. They got rid of them and we went broke. Many of them lost their jobs, over 700,000. And you think out of nowhere, these billionaires and millionaires are saying, oh, we're going to be American again. That's that sell right there. That's that marketing right there to tell you, buy American, American, America, and get you all motivated. That's the poisonous cheese. Because in all honesty, you're not getting shit out of this deal. Billionaires are, and the other countries are. We're the ones that are going to be paying so that these billionaires and millionaires in other countries can grow richer and richer. It's crazy. Maybe let's continue.
Chip thinker, I call him. He's really a thinker more than a maker. But we also have the maker, Mr. Way. I get to know them all in the last, it was a cram course. But they're all moving into America because of the tariffs. And I don't think people have appreciated it. Some people do. Some of the smart people do. So we have more money coming in. It's really an amazing thing. We have more money being invested in the United States now than at any time ever before in our history, and it's not even close. And I think the real number...
And it's not even close. Earlier, he said $1 trillion. 1.5 trillion, something like that. Watch this number he's about to spit at you.
Could be 9 or 10 trillion. We don't know everybody that's doing it. We have many. I just heard about a plant that's being built right now, a very, very top-of-the-line company, and they didn't come to the White House. They're just doing it because...
What's the name of the plant? Everything's a generality. I know a plant. I know a cow. I know a tree. I know a house. I know it. Give us a fucking name. What's the cow's name? What's the plant's name? What is it? You're making this shit up. When you said Honda, we understand what Honda is, but we already knew that they was building something here to begin with before you became president. When you said Apple, we know what that is. Please tell us what's the name of this. Please tell us where you got the $9 trillion from. Please tell us. But you'll never find out because after this meeting, that shit's out the window. I guarantee you that $9 trillion will be another number the next time you ask him about it. I believe it's 12 trillion. 12, 15 trillion, right, Rubio? 25 trillion, 35, 40, 45 sold. I guarantee you. It's crazy. This dude is crazy. And these people are literally pushing him up. And I guarantee you, the reason why Trump is president in the Republican Party is because they can get this fool to do what they want him to do. These are the things these Republicans want. These MAGA want. He's pushing it through. He's the strong man to push it through. He's the one that takes all the heat. While they're in the background getting everything they want. everything they want. As long as they continue doing exactly what Donald Trump wants them to do, they can fool around, do whatever they want, be on all kinds of apps they shouldn't be on, all that. Even the dude that should have got fired got promoted.
Because they're making it because if they build here, there are no tariffs. And this is the big market. This is the market. That sets us apart from it. This is the market where everyone wants to be. Now, if I didn't come here and do this, all of a sudden we wouldn't be the market where everyone wants to be. So we were able to do it in time.
So let me get this straight, y'all. This man said America is the market, which we are the capital of spending, right? And if he didn't become president, we wouldn't be the capital of spending, something that we've been since like the 80s, most of the time throughout the creation of our country. But at least in around the 80s, we really were like a massive spending country. We became, since 1945, after the war, we became a mega power in this country based off of gold at first, and then our dollar was based off of, and then later, just the dollar itself. The reason why we're in power and we have all this, we're called the richest country in the world and all that. And this man's going to tell me that because he became president, now we're the place to be. We weren't the place to work with or deal with or whatever beforehand. Fool, we've been this way way before you came, and we're going to be this way after you gone. So just that alone, it is not connected to any kind of reality. None whatsoever. And they just let this shit ramble on. This man is dumbifying everything. I mean, the news just sits there and listens to this shit and doesn't break any of it down. Like, this doesn't make sense, y'all. Not at all. He came in and the country is the place to be now, place to work with. Everybody's scattering away from us. You have brought together 3 countries that couldn't stand each other to work out deals for trade because they're sick of our shit. Canada's sitting right next to this man, telling him over and over again with his senile ass, we're not selling Canada. Get it out your mind. Don't put it past me. It's like, what do you say? Never say never. I'm like, well, we just said never, bro. But never say never. Dude, I don't know what's wrong with your brain, but ain't shit being sold. We ain't the 51st. Nothing. It's Jesus Christ, why do we have this dude? Take him home with you already. I don't know why I'm looking up, because he's going straight to hell.
But we're going to have a great announcement, and I'm not necessarily saying it's on trade. Going to the beginning, we're going to have a great announcement over the next few days, an announcement that will be so incredible.
Remember, Donald Trump used to tell us this all the time in his first presidency. We're going to have a healthcare plan. It's going to be so incredible, you won't believe it. It's going to come in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Everything he promised, 2 weeks, he delivered on none of them. Not 1, 2, 3, none of them. Healthcare, 9 years later, he still has concepts. But it's coming, I'm sure. It'll be 2 weeks after my death, it'll come. And this is, we got something great to tell you. It's going to come in a few days or whatever. It ain't coming, y'all. And if he says something in the next couple of days, it's going to be something that wasn't what he promised, because, again, he don't have anything to promise. You don't even know what genre it's going to be in, what kind of world it's going to be in. If it's going to be another thing about putting tariffs on another thing outside of movies. We're going to put tariffs on dog food. I mean, what are we doing here? What is he talking about?
So positive. And I'm not saying, I don't want you to think it's necessarily on trade. Just to finish, we also have a situation.
Said, I don't want you to think it's on trade. Like, hold up. I ain't going to be able to do shit on trade. I ain't going to be able to do nothing on trade. So, hold up. I ain't talking about trade, because I suck at that. So it's going to be something else. I promise you. I don't want you to think it's trade. Of course we don't think it's trade, because China has your number. It's not too hard. They already seen how when the bond dropped, your ass flipped. So who owns the majority of our bonds? Japan and China. Who got together that don't like each other? Japan, and China, right? And South Korea. Those three got together to work a deal. You don't think those two would like, you know what? If he fucks with any one of us three, we're just going to sell our bonds. Their dollar a drop. Let's just do that. They really don't have any power. They think they do. We'll let them decide that they do. But the moment either one of them bounces and says, look, I want my money back. Japan owns $1.1 trillion of our debt. They own 700, China that is, owns 760, something like that, billion. And when Donald Trump changed his mind is when Japan, not China, started selling off his stock because off his bonds. It's like, hey, these people are tripping. It's inconsistent. That's when our shit took a dive. Because once your stocks go down, they usually put them into bonds. They weren't putting them into bonds. They were selling their stock and selling their bonds. The American dollar took a fucking hit. Lost 1% like in a day. If these countries really wanted to fuck with us, all they have to do is sell their bonds. We're fucked. It's just that simple. Now, they wouldn't do it immediately. It would be like, I think, a last resort because, again, they are based on the dollar. They'd have to have something in place to replace the dollar almost immediately. Even though they have things, they haven't, like BRICS, and there's a few other ones, they haven't solidified it enough. But the reality is that they're trying. And eventually, they're going to figure it out. Now, with our other presidents and other things of that nature, those things we're making it like halt away. I mean, go away a little bit because our economy is growing. They don't want to mess up their money. Donald Trump tanking it is really feeding into the hands of our enemies. 100%. This man wants to isolate America. I'm going to tell you something. America isolated will lose. America's got a great army, but you can't fight every country. You can't turn every country into an enemy. You think you're going to be, we're going to be self-sustaining. America cannot be self-sustaining. They want to tell you it can, but it can't. We will run out of resources if it's just us. If we manufactured everything, that's what this fool's trying to say. Manufacture everything. We don't need China. I'm not going to show that video, but I'm going to tell you what he said about that, but we're going to continue.
Everyone says, when are you going to sign deals? We don't have to sign deals. We could sign 25 deals right now, Howard, if we wanted. We don't have to sign deals. They have to sign deals with us. They want a piece of our market. We don't want a piece of their market. We don't care about their market. They want a piece of our market. So we can just sit down, and I'll do this at some point over the next 2 weeks, and I'll sit with Howard and Scott and with our great vice president who has done a really good job. We have some good news to report on a lot of fronts, but JD will be there and Marco, and we're going to sit down and we're going to put very fair numbers down, and we're going to say, here's what this country, what we want, and congratulations, we have a deal.
Thank you, Nina.
And they'll either say, great, and they'll start shopping, or they'll say, not good, we're not going to do it. I said, that's okay, you don't have to shop. Now, we may think, well, they have a right, that maybe we were a little bit wrong, so we'll adjust it. And then you people will say, oh, it's so chaotic. No, we're flexible. But we'll sit down and we'll, at some point, in some cases, we'll sign some deals. It's much less important than what I'm talking about. For the most part, we're just going to put down a number and say, this is what you're going to pay to shop. And it's going to be a very fair number. It'll be a low number. We're not looking to hurt countries. We want to.
Do you realize this man is going around in circles right now? He's literally talking about, we don't need to make deals. They need to make deals with us. That would mean both of you guys need to be making deals. A deal is between two people. Who has to come to whom doesn't fucking matter. Does a deal work or not? But he's saying we don't need to make deals. They need to make deals with us. They want our market. Yo, we don't make a lot of the shit that we use. All you got to do is go look around your household and see what's made in China, what's made in Japan, what's made in Korea, what's made in Brazil. Better yet, stop, cut that. I want to challenge you. Go in your house and find something that says made in America. Find something that says made in America. That's better of a challenge. And he's going to say, we don't need anybody. I guarantee you 90% of the stuff, if not higher, 99% of the stuff in your house is from a foreign country. I would say a good 80% of it, if not more, is from China. I would venture to say that most of y'all can't find one thing in your house that was made in America unless it's some kind of pottery you bought from a friend or some artist that you know. And he says, we don't need anybody else's shit. We can just do our own stuff. It sounds like America, like, oh, America's this, America's that bravado bullshit. The reality is, we don't make enough. Now, do we have the talent to do so? Hell yeah. But the reality is, how many years you talking about doing this? Because this ain't going to happen overnight. So middle class people, some of y'all are going to be poor by the time we get this done because the money's going to come out. Poor people, some of us in the situation, if it's me or middle class or in a poor class, we're going to be in some dire straits. Crime's going to go up. The rich people, some of them that are just rich and not just extraordinarily wealthy, they're going to move to the middle class. They ain't going to like it. But it's inevitable. You can't keep charging 145% on stuff and you realize that you don't make shit. Everything that says American made is literally made like 85% from another country. Or made, 50% here, 50% there. That means you got to build a mold, the dye, and all stuff like that. If it's metal, to be able to make these products, also design them, do these things of that nature, and then mass produce them of quality, cheap enough that other countries that already make them at that cheaper, probably cheap as hell, you got to be able to do that. Which means that the American worker is going to be working off pennies for that to happen. Just like China had to do until it realized we can build the technology. That took 40 years. Are Americans literally wanting to wait 40 years of just constantly living in poverty, class dropping? No. So we keep, not me, but Americans, some of them, keep listening to this nonsense. And it's to your own demise. The last time they did this, 700,000 plus jobs were lost. These people thought that life was going to get better because these billionaires keep telling them that. But you know what the billionaire goal is. Profit over people. So why in the hell do you think they care about you? They don't. They're figuring out a way to sweet talk you while stealing your money. They're figuring out a way to sweet talk you and have your kids keep reproducing so that they can have a class of people working in factories and they just get richer and richer and richer. Can you believe a human being literally wakes up every day thinking how they can put you in harm's way, in economic disaster? Most of us just want to get up, go to work, come home, enjoy our families. They are literally actively thinking about how can they fuck your life over. Wake up. That's their goal. How can I make more money and take it out of their pockets? 100%. And if I can't do it because to make my product better, let me make it cheaper from another country and I can take it out of your pocket because I'm paying you too much. Paying you $100,000. I'm paying you a living wage to build this product. And what's the best way to do it? Oh, pay slave labor. Fuck these Americans. That's what American business people said. Fuck the American citizen and living wages. That's why you can't get them to give people a minimum wage of $15. They don't give a fuck about you. Starve. They're laughing at the fact that you're feeding a family off of $15 an hour. And these Americans are sitting there trying to kiss their ass. Why would you be kissing the ass of somebody who wants your demise? It makes no sense. These people don't care about you. And you're steadily trying to be their best friends. When they would toss you under a bus for any amount of money.
Help countries. We want to be friendly with countries. But you keep writing about deals. When are we going to sign? When? It's very simple. We're going to say, in some cases, we want you to open up your country. In some cases, we want you to drop your tariffs. I mean, India, as an example, has one of the highest tariffs in the world. We're not going to put up with that. And they've agreed already to drop it. They'll drop it to nothing. They've already agreed. They would have never done that for anybody else but me. So,
what is this, a self-aggrandizing, 7-minute spiel from one question? They wouldn't do it unless they do it for me. They wouldn't do it for you. They wouldn't do it for Biden. They wouldn't do it for Obama. They wouldn't do it for Reagan. All the way back to Nixon or whatever. They wouldn't do it for them. They'd just do it for me because I'm special. Yeah, you're special. Special ed. Other than that, ain't nothing special about you.
We're going to put down some numbers and we're going to say our country is open for business. And they're going to come in and they're going to pay for the privilege of being able to shop in the United States of America. It's very simple. It's very simple. So I wish they'd keep, stop asking, how many deals are you signing this week? Because one day we'll come and we'll give you 100 deals. And they don't have to sign. All they have to do is say, oh, we'll start sending our ships right now to pick up whatever we want or to bring whatever we want.
What the fuck is he talking about? All this to be making deals. He's the one that said, I'm the deal maker. I'm making deals. And now he's saying they don't need to be deals. They can just say, oh, I'm going to send my boats and ships over right now. Without a deal? He said, I want you to stop asking me the questions of when I got a deal. Because it makes me look bad is why he's saying it. Because I don't have any deals and nobody won't talk to me. And seeing as they don't talk to me, I look stupid when you keep asking these questions. Now reporters, mainstream media, even my people, content creators, we must ask this question not a little bit, a fuck lot. Whatever term you want to call it, a lot. Because he needs to hear it every day now. Because when he says stuff like that, the media backs off and won't ask that question again. I wish you stop asking me this. I'll get it when I get it. If I have one day, I'm going to come and I'm going to give you 100 deals. Yeah, one day the fairy's going to come and give me $1 million for my molars. The fuck are you talking about?
Very, very simple. And I think my people haven't made it clear. We will sign some deals, but much bigger than that is we're going to put down the price that people are going to have to pay to shop in the United States. Think of us as a super luxury store, a store that has the goods. You're going to come and you're going to pay a price, and we're going to give you a very good price. We're going to make very good deals. And in some cases, we'll adjust. But that's where it is. And we've been ripped off by everybody for 50 years. And we're just not going to do that anymore. We can't do that. And we can't let any country do that to us. We're just not going to do it anymore.
That's the president of the United States. Cognitively declining. This man just spoke 7 minutes and 20 seconds of fucking nonsense. We got the goods. What's the goods? Look at it as a beautiful store. Listen to his adjectives. It's the same adjectives. I mean, I need somebody with a little bit more depth. This motherfucker's, oh, we used to say big league, and nobody knew whether you're saying big league or big league. Uh, you know, can never forget Kofefe. This man's like beautiful, big. I mean, a 4-year-old knows beautiful and big, and he uses those like they're just like the amazing adjectives never spewed before. Only geniuses can be able to tap into those two adjectives. That's it. I mean, he has a vocabulary that's very, very small. Very small. And it comes around and acts like he's a genius to everybody. Oh, my uncle was a genius in MIT, and I believe in genes. God, man. I long for the days of Obama, man. And not because he's a Democrat, because he was a person who was intellectually there. His entire 8 years, he made fucking sense. Whether you liked a policy or didn't like a policy, it wasn't that he couldn't get it to you and tell you what it is. It wasn't that he couldn't have a coherent sentence. He was so good at communicating that children would sit there and watch him like he was a freaking TV show. My kids would watch him. I remember when he was president and he did something, I don't know what it was. And I went to the school and I came to the school and the kids all gathered around, all different races, color, creeds, whatever. They all gathered around and the teachers were there and they turned on the TV and they watched Obama and they were just like, children. They didn't know what these were like, third graders, if that. They didn't know what the hell he was talking about, but the way he talked. Some of the things I'm sure some of they knew, but and how kind he was and hope. Our kids had hope t-shirts and all, and not even dealing with Obama, just the word hope was something that was, if it was on a t-shirt and it had like, anything, any other Transformers with the word hope on it. It was just something that they just grew up like. Hope was a word that really meant something to them. And now last time, the time before, we had, right after Obama, we had Mr. Idiot here. Then we had Biden that made some sense. He got older and things and started getting back to stuttering and, kind of trying to grasp on the things, words and stuff like that, but still coherent. And then we got Sir Idiot again. I don't see any kids just like, oh my God, I love just these wackos running around with two hats on. I don't know what's come to our country, y'all, but it was just, it went from hope to hell. Hope to hell. And in my personal opinion, racist white people tried to literally say that President Obama, was a divider in chief. And he never did anything to divide. He did everything to unite. Poor Obama, he got it from both sides. Some black people were so pissed off him that he didn't get a lot done for black people. Then white people, not all, but the racist ones, and some that said they even voted for him and they weren't racist, literally was saying some of the most racist shit, that he was dividing people amongst race. President Obama never gave a speech about race. He spoke about black people, what they were going through. He started, Am I My Brother's Keeper, or My Brother's Keeper at least, to help young black men. What else did he do? Did he create any laws specifically just for black people? No. So where did they get that from? Where they got it from is Mitch McConnell and the racist Republicans didn't want to do anything with Obama. And even when Obama reached out to them, they act like he never did and went out to their party and Fox and say, this is the president that doesn't want to work with us and help anybody. That was not true. This man was literally putting out, you need help. We want to work together. And they're the ones that said, we don't ever want to work with him. From day one, we're going to make him a first-term president. We're not going to pass anything that he wants. And they called him the racist. And it was all them that were racist. It's crazy, yo. It's crazy. I saw this video the other day. This one young man, I believe it's a white dude. I couldn't tell. He had the thing on his head. But I didn't really see the whole thing. I just saw his hat. And his hat was Obama 2028. Because they want to make 3 terms. So he's like, Obama 2028. I was like, I should just get that hat just to clown him, to troll him. Just get that 2028 Obama. But it's just insane, y'all. It really is. That we have to deal with this. With the only other thing that I really wanted to talk about, again, that was today, and I saw that, and it just tripped me out that he went on a 7-minute spiel that went nowhere. All lies, a bunch of numbers everywhere, redundant numbers, because he said 1 trillion, and later said, I believe it's like 9 trillion, right? 9 trillion. The other thing that happened in this interview that I'm not going to show was that the Prime Minister of Canada was sitting right next to him, Mark Carney, and Donald Trump just sat there and talked to the audience that basically we don't need Canada. We only do like what, 4% or something like that, whatever. We only need them. We only need them. We don't need their products. We would like to make our own cars. We need to do stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, Canada, literally, we're like one of the biggest exports. They export to us $412.7 billion. Canada is the second largest trading partner and its largest export market. We are their largest exporting market. And Donald Trump sat here and lied and said that we don't need them. We don't have the actual manufacturing companies to be able to make everything American. It's shocking to me how we sit here in America and can't see the forest for the trees. This man is lying to you 1,000%. America doesn't have the manufacturing companies in this country to maintain the way we live now. That's why we get so much from all these different countries. That's why you can't find Made in America on most of the crap in your home. I don't mean to call your stuff crap, but I think all things are crap. But most of the stuff in your home, whatever you got, microphone, phones, mouse, keyboards, toaster ovens, refrigerators, all of it. It's got stuff from every country you can think of. It could not be made in America, at least the majority of what I said in America. I don't know about refrigerators, but everything else can't be made in America. It can be, but it's not going to be made overnight. And people are like, oh, we just got to go through the pain a little bit. How long do you think that pain is going to be? The minimum is a decade. The maximum that I've heard, and I think I heard this from Stephanie Rule, is 20 years. Most of us won't be around in 20 years. The ones who are probably listening to me, if you're anywhere between 50, 60 years old, we may not be around. We may still be here. But even, you never know when is your time. But they're talking about doing something 20 years from now and people are already living paycheck to paycheck. How about you build the manufacturing companies and then throw on the tariffs? How about that? Because then we're already manufacturing. We already got deals with other countries to take some of our manufacturing. We've worked it out to the point where we can actually be competitive. Because this stuff don't even make any sense business wise. You got to think about it. If you build a business, right, and let's say it's a competing business with another country, which that's the reason tariffs are really around. And let's just say it's cars. If Canada can build this car for $8,000 because they don't figure some stuff out and they've been building it for $8,000 to build it, and ours is the minimum, of $15,000 to build it, just any car. If you and the ones we got, but if we were going to bring it here and say, okay, we want to bring the manufacturing here. Well, when you can get the car for $8,000 in Canada, why on earth are you coming to America to get it for $15,000? You're gonna pay $7,000 more. You wouldn't. You'd be buying it from Canada. America would have to build it, and we already got cars here, but we'd have to build the car and build the technology in which it would be done at a competitive price, close to the 7,000. We can always say, we're better at it than Canada is, and therefore we can sell it for $8,000. They selling it for $8,000. We could sell it for $10,000. That might work. Just might work. Selling it for its quality as opposed to cheap, whatever. That might work. They're gonna mark it up, but I'm just talking about how much to make it. But then you got that situation, and now you're gonna come to America, and you don't have the manufacturing company that can get it down to 10,000, 12,000, and you want those tariffs on like right now. And then that country is gonna throw tariffs on us. Our product costs more to make. Who's gonna hurt more? America. Because we need to sell these cars, and ours costs more. And with tariffs on both of us, it's going to cost their people more than it cost us. Right? And vice versa, depending on the percentage of the tariff and all these different things like that. But the tariff game doesn't work unless you have something competitive. We can't compete with China on its products. We can't compete with that. Be realistic. They have a 40-year jump on us. We gave that shit up over 40 years ago. They got a 40-year jump on us. They got their economy working around this shit. We're not going to be able to compete that quick. I have no problem with America wanting to say, hey, let's build American, but be realistic in it. Actually build American. Start that shit from scratch here. I mean, what's the use of bringing a Japanese company into America and having them build it here? Guess what? If that Japanese company that's sitting on American soil is considered American to you because they're making, I don't know, let's say they're making a Ford or whatever it may be. Say the Japanese company come here and make Fords. That ain't gonna happen, but let's just say they did. The factory, the profits belong to the Japanese people. Gives a shit where it's sitting. When they make their money, it's going back to their country because it's their business. Going to, I mean, you want to have, if you're going to say American, then get real with it. Make it in America, right? And then sell it anywhere in America or overseas, and it's American made. Billionaires would tell you, even when they promoted that buy American, American made, American built, it wasn't. It was assembled in America, but the parts were bought from China to Korea to Brazil to Taiwan to India. They brought it here, put it together here, and the thing about it, they rather have them put together and all that and just come here as a product. They'd rather do that. But they went on this marketing spree to get Americans, buy American. And then they slapped the American tag on a Japanese or Chinese made product that was assembled here, and therefore they could put that on the label. Made in America, American made, but it was really assembled. The products were cheaply made from China, the other third world countries. Same thing with shoes. It's really kind of frustrating to see Americans, not all of us, but a lot of us, fall for that banana in the tailpipe. These billionaires keep doing the same things. And the reason why they're able to achieve it is because we fall for it. This is why they are against woke. Because if you're awake, then you get to see what they're doing to you. But if you stay asleep, they can't get it past you. And the thing is, they thrive on Americans being stupid, not asking questions, just literally going through life blind, while they're consistently thinking, how can I get these people to do what I need them to do without them knowing that I'm robbing them? I want them to get promoted. I want them to promote me to rob them. I don't want to rob them, make them feel bad. I want to give them a slogan that they can repeat and hate on somebody else. And to be able to hate on them, they got to buy my product. That's how devious these people are. They're not focused on you or your health or your happiness. They're focused on your destruction. They want you to hate somebody. And they already know that you already got hate for people, mainly because of race and shit that they created to begin with. And they just want to feed that. Give you the ammunition to go out there and do that dirt for them. But you need their product. You need their service. You need to go to their seminars. You need to do all this shit and therefore fill their coffers. That one white lady who called the little black child that has I forgot what it is that the child has, but she's, from what I've seen lately, I don't know what it is now, I saw it earlier today, $600,000 she's made for calling that little boy the N-word from a bunch of white people that thought it was the right thing to do. A 5-year-old child who was disabled. And that right there is this country in a nutshell. You can't raise $600,000 off a country that proclaims that it's not racist. In a matter of days, this woman has 600 grand from Americans who thought calling a 5-year-old child the N-word was something she should have been paid to do. Wow. Promoting it. So guess what's going to happen? The N-word is going to be spread out like crazy, because if she can make 600,000, next, where's the next racist that's going to come out and pop out and call somebody an N-word? Going to walk up to a baby and say it? Going to walk up to a grandma and say it? And then just want to get money from it? You think it stopped with her? You crazy. This country is greedy. If she can get 600 grand, these racists are going to be trying their damnedest to do it. Now, for me, I don't know what that company is, but I thought companies had policies where you can't make money off of like things like doing things like hate and things of that nature. I don't even see how she can even receive the money, because it's focused on her doing hateful things, racism, all that type of things. Those things are not something you can raise money off of. It's supposed to be against a lot of people's policies. So I would like to see the company's policies that are allowing her to make this money off of actual hate crimes. But yeah, so that's one thing. Now, the deception I was thinking today, and this is off topic, but I'm only gonna just talk about this for a little bit. I wrote something about it, but I was listening to the news earlier. It was on I don't know what it was on. I was listening to it. Um and just in like it was on, but I wasn't like focused on it. I was doing something else. And I kept hearing this term, the working class, the working class. And that's all, and it was just it's just one of those terms that is ingrained in us, but you never really look into the depth of what it actually means. Because for the longest time I was thinking, and this is when I was younger, coming up, in my 20s in college. I was thinking that the working class was all of us that just worked. I mean, anybody who works is working, right? I mean, what is that all about? But then they would say urban and other classes, and I'm like, why? And then I started recognizing, this way even back during Clinton. I was running for president. That's when I was in college. And I used to ask like, all the time, and Google wasn't there at the time. So I used to ask all the time, like, what's the difference between working class and urban? And, they were talking about something else when they talked about white people. I forgot what it's called. Um, Blue collar, all this. Like, I'm sitting there like, what is it? And I wondered if anybody else understood why they did that. 'Cause I had to go deeper into it. The working class, when people are talking about it on news, they're talking about white people. And I was like, well, we all work. Why is the hell that they're working class, but everybody else is kind of labeled by their race or their place of living, urban. They'll talk about women, white women, in the suburbs and different things of that nature. But when they talk about the class, they're talking about different levels of class, and they're literally talking about working people as white people. And I was like, huh. And I really kind of want to dig into the history of that. Why did they call white people the working class? And where did it originally come from? Did it really start off as white people being a working class? Or did it shift just like history? And therefore, I went and figured it out. I wrote something about it. You know me, I'm writing speeches all the time because that's what I do. But I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to leave you with it to kind of like focus on how we need to get rid of a label that just classifies, when you say working class, as if one class works and the other classes don't. That one class is up here and all the rest of them down here based off of this. This country professes to not be racist, but even in its terminologies and descriptions of people, they tried to take the racism out of it from a face value type of level, but underneath the tone of what it is, it literally is saying one race is a working class and the rest of them are just like they're like leeches off of the working class. And you're like, you don't know that because they've hid it so well. One of the things in this country that really, maybe all over the world, but I don't know this country, is that there's so many hidden layers behind the racism, the sexism, the transphobia. There's so many layers. How racist people can literally come up with terms to hide their racism is scary. And get you, black, white, Latin, whatever, saying these terms, and you're really not knowing what the hell you're saying. They're at a level of just seems normal to say working class, but you look at the history of it, you're basically saying white people work and everybody else are leeches. And you don't even know you're saying that. This country, I guess this country, the white race, the ones who think they're the master class, they come up with these terms and somehow they infiltrate them into our society. And we bite it and eat this shit up. It's their master way of dividing us so that we never unite around the issues. We're always divided. And we're divided subconsciously. Subconsciously, they divide us. In our words and terminology, you know how they say you speak things into existence? We're speaking racism and sexism and xenophobia and classism into existence without even realizing that's what we're doing. Just by saying the working class and the picture you get of white people working, that in itself is brainwashing you into believing that the working class, the people who put in the work, are white. And it's so not true. It's everybody. And that's what these people who are in power don't want you to do. That's a way to divide us forever. There are literally people that I'm a working class. You'll see them say that. They won't say the N word, but they'll sit there and say that. You've seen the videos throughout the years on YouTube or TikTok or whatever. We're the working class, as if you're not. It's wild. So I wrote this, my friends. We hear a lot about the working class in America, about forgotten workers, overlooked voters, heartland heroes. But every time the media says working class, they show the same image. A white man in a hard hat, staring toward a factory lost to time. But let's tell the whole truth. You know I love that. Before there were factories, before there were steel mills and coal towns, before the term working class ever existed, there were black bodies in chains, in fields, in kitchens, in sweltering heat, in brutal silence, building a nation for free. We were the original working class. We built the South, we bankrolled the North. Our labor laid the foundation of Wall Street, the backbone of cotton, tobacco, rice, railroads. All while the founding fathers called it freedom and called us property. After the Civil War, they didn't hand us wages. They handed us sharecropping. They handed us black codes. They handed us segregated labor markets that kept us poor or calling us free. And when the labor movement started to rise in the late 1800s and early 1900s, when white workers began to organize against the tycoons, black workers were locked out. We weren't seen as workers. We were seen as scabs, threats, second-class labor. Not because we weren't working, but because we had never been allowed to be equal. The label, working class, was slowly whitewashed. Not because black folks stopped working, but because America couldn't imagine calling us what we truly were: builders, providers, laborers, backbones, equals. Now, let's fast forward. In the 1930s, President Franklin D. Roosevelt gave us the New Deal: labor protections, Social Security, unemployment insurance, but black workers were intentionally excluded from those benefits. Why? Because in order to pass the deal, FDR needed the support of powerful Southern segregationist senators. Men like Senator James Burns, or is it Byrons? of Southern California, of South Carolina, and Senator Richard Russell of Georgia. They made a demand. We'll support your labor laws, but only if you leave out black people. So the deal was made. Domestic workers excluded. Farm laborers excluded. That was over 60% of the black workforce at that time. We were the working class, and they left us out on purpose. That exclusion wasn't a bug in the system, it was the system. And it wasn't corrected for decades. Today, when politicians say working class, they still don't picture the black man delivering Amazon boxes. They don't picture the black woman cleaning hospital rooms. They don't picture the barber, the single mom, the Uber driver, the janitor, the teacher, the elder care worker, even though that's who we are. Why? Because America wants to keep the image of hardworking separate from the reality of black labor. They want the soul of our work, but not the face of it. And yet, they say with a straight face, we're not a racist country. If that were true, the labels would have changed by now. The narratives would have shifted. The systems would have been reckoned with, not rebranded. We've always been working class. Before the factories, before the unions, before the politicians needed a buzzword, we worked not just for survival, but for freedom. And now we're standing up again, not just to claim the label, but to rewrite the story. We don't want handouts. We want truth. We want dignity. We want unity. And most of all, we want the working class to finally look like what it actually is. All of us. Black, white, brown, broken, rising. We are the people who cook the food, deliver the packages, fix the brakes, teach the kids, drive the buses, hold this country up. And we will no longer be erased from our own identity. So let's stop asking for a seat at a table we built. Let's build a new one where every worker, every soul who labors is seen, heard, and paid in truth. We, meaning all Americans who have a job and work for their families, are the working class. We are the first, or at least we were the first. We are the now. And if we rise together, we will be the future. All Americans who work for a living are the working class. And the reason why these people don't want us to all be called hardworking, because you got to understand, they've forever been telling black people that they're lazy. This culture, this country. So much so that people who come here as immigrants have never really met Americans worth a damn at all. But they come here, their first thing to think is that black people are lazy because this country perpetuates that. They promote it. And saying simple things like the working class, and they leave out people of color, specifically black people, when they say it. I've been working since I was 8. I was an entrepreneur myself. Didn't know what it was. But I've been making money since I was 8, selling candy to school. Then graduated to selling pencils and papers. I've been doing that since I was a child. I've been a part of the working class since I was 8. But this country didn't classify me and my people as hardworking. They didn't classify my mom, who had 3 jobs, taking care of 3 kids, as a working class when she grew up. If a person who've worked their entire lives, and a lot of time for less than most other cultures have had to work for. And throughout this country, the history of working for free, not only for a year or 2 year, for fucking centuries. How do you call that class just urban or whatever you want to call it, and not call them the working class? My thing is this: they built that so that we continue to be divided, and I think we should all claim it so that you can unite. Those in power, the racists, the billionaires, and things of that nature, they love separating us like that. Why do you think it's still here? Why do you think they rebranded it instead of getting rid of it? Because they still need that division in order for them to rise. The moment we come together and start saying to one another, we're all a part of the working class. So how can the working class benefit? We all need certain things in our families, our certain communities. How can we benefit as a working class? A working class should be one huge actual unit of people, not separated into certain white people, which is ridiculous. But that was another form of division that I would no longer take part in. When I say working class, I mean all Americans who are here working, taking care of their families. We got issues we need to work with. The tariffs is one that we need to focus on. Any issues that healthcare, all the things that we care about as a working class, we should come together and not be separated by what your particular race, color, or creed is. About unifying around, and understand that every culture has, live in certain communities where mostly this, that, and the third, but still, you can do that by your particular city or town. But when it comes to the working class and the people who, the way we vote, it should be one huge class, not this divided segment. The longer we stay divided, the more we stay in a situation where this classism thing destroys us. Billionaires and millionaires came up with these ideas to begin with. Racist and xenophobic people back in the day, they came up with this stuff to figure out how can they push white men to the top and everybody else down. Oh, I know. Let's get numbers and divide everybody by labels. Well, I think we should all be the working class and not be divided. All united around the idea of that we matter. We want our families to be taken care of, and we don't want billionaires deciding our lives. Billionaires should become billionaires and take care of them and their families. You should not be ruling our government. You get one vote just like we do. Your money should not give you additional votes or decisions about America. It's we the people, not we the rich people. So that's my focus, and like I told you guys, I've been working on that, still working on it. Things are backwards, I see, Eugenie, in this country. And once we realize that we are unified as a people, and even though nobody's telling anybody to forget their cultures, I'm not going to forget mine. I don't want Italian or European to forget whatever culture you have. Latin. The thing is that those things are just like what we bring to the table. I look at it as like if we all went to a picnic and each person, me, I brought you, that soul food, and Latin person brought me whatever, Ecuadorian, Mexican, the Irish brought something, Europeans brought something. We're all bringing something to that table. We all deserve to eat at the table. We all have a piece of that. And we shouldn't be dividing that. We love each other's food, and why can't we treat each other like that? What you believe in externally, that's on you. If you are a Christian, fine. I ain't got nothing against that. You're a Muslim, I ain't got nothing against that. Atheist, I ain't got nothing against that. That is you and your people, do your thing. But stop trying to tell other people they can't do theirs, because nobody on this planet wants to be told you can't worship the way you want to worship. But we got a group of people in this country that are doing their damnedest to sweep through this country and tell people they can't be who they are. You can't be trans. You can't be gay. You can't be bi. You can't be black. You can't be Latin. You can't be just gotta be white to be able to get everything in this country right. And you gotta be the white person that really appreciates white nationalism. And if not, we don't have any part of you, and we're trying to fuck your life over. Take books away from you so you can't read about your culture. It's a slippery slope. They've been coming after brown people, but what about when they figure out, oh, just a white nationalist country and it's just Christianity, and then they don't have your kids who you may be Buddhist in white, you may be whatever in white, and they choose, and now you got to do that. You don't want that. You don't want that. Don't act like you do. You want to be able to live your life, Constitution, and not be told how to live your life. If it ain't breaking any laws that Americans have agreed on, you should be able to do it. You shouldn't have people in the government trying to tell you can't. And that's the way I look at it. So that's all I have to give tonight, man. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a tripped out day to watch, Trump do his thing and mainstream media kind of just let it fly. I understand it's hard to, catch all the lies that he's doing, and it's crazy. But we got to figure out something to defeat this. And the only way I can think about it is uniting around issues that we all have. We're not going to agree on everything, probably most things, but the things we do agree on, we can work on and then move. I look at it this way. The way I see government work, I would love for it to work is every culture has to realize that no matter where people live at or, black colleges, there's Christian, whatever it is, or, Latin colleges, because there are some. The thing that's crazy about that I hear about so tripped out is there are, just like there's black colleges, there are Latin colleges too. You just never hear about them. There are Latin colleges just like the black colleges, but you never hear about them. They get money just like black colleges do. Oftentimes when they're giving to these black colleges, some of those funds are actually allocated for Hispanic colleges too. But you never hear them talking disrespect about these Latin colleges. They don't even be mentioned. They just talk about the black colleges. We got to stop funding them. Well, if they stop funding us, that means the Latin colleges are being defunded too. But you never hear those Latin colleges screaming or yelling like, give us our money. It's always these black colleges that are fighting for it. And in so doing, when they win, so does the Latin colleges. And if they are fighting, they literally are being covered in the news. They need to focus on that. The news does not cover them whatsoever. Sad. Oh yeah, I love the fact I love seeing you guys converse with each other, Jeannie. That way, we have good people having conversations around topics that really matter. In my rooms, I focus on bringing people together, not necessarily always having a like mind, but just the idea of allowing people the space to learn, to love and care about one another. It's only fair. I don't care who you are, that you should be able to be born into this world and enjoy your life and do right by others and do right by your family. Know that it's a we thing and not a me thing, this whole experience of life, and go about your business enjoying it. It always trips me out. It's like that people wake up and choose hate, wake up and choose division. And they wake up and do it every day. I mean, they wake up and their main goal is how, and they ain't talking about just the people in country and racist people, the bubble people. I'm talking about the billionaires who wrote up like Project 2025. They got so much disdain for women and their private parts and them having power. I mean, that type of hate. You're like, who wakes up and has that? And there are a shit ton of men who do. They put energy in that. I can honestly tell you, I have never woke up in the morning and thought about choosing hate and division to run my life. This energy that they muster up to wake up every day and address it, not only with their voice and their like actual energy, they're putting millions and billions of dollars behind this hatred. It shows in the white woman who literally called a black child the N word, and that energy is so strong. This lady, in a matter of days, have gotten over three-quarters, not even three-quarters, but $600,000. She's coming up on $1 million. For what? That hate exists. And on the opposite side, we can't muster up enough respect and love that we can defeat that. I wake up every day and I choose love, truth, facts. I think that's loving somebody if I'm going to actually search the facts and make sure that you are on the right track and be able to research me so that you can realize that I'm doing my best to educate with honesty. And with somebody who's giving love and honesty can't even raise $10,000, and that lady can go with hate and raise 600 grand, what are we doing here? We have to be honest with ourselves. Hate is winning. Ask yourself why. Who is the leader or the person that's spreading love that you're giving that same energy to? People who love are giving nothing to people who are trying to blow up love. It's those hateful people that are giving their savings away to hateful people, promoting it. And because hate is profitable, it's going to grow. We need a story of somebody doing good, raising more than that, to show that love is supposed to win. We find a good deed out there that's been done, let's promote them. We have to make that a huge thing, because the way just one lady did that off of hate, it's sad. But I'll be looking out for something that's like that, to be able to promote it and put money behind it. Because if we continue to see hate winning like that, what do you think it's going to do to everybody else? That's already disgusting. But we need to champion the opposite side and show them we're just as strong. If we do not, that will become the norm. I'll be working on something for others, You know what I'm doing. I'm working on a plan to be able to help us get off the billionaire teat and start making a living for ourselves. And like I said, my members, I'll let you know. I'm always late on this, and I'll never really put up like support until the end. but yeah, we need to focus on that and bring that energy to us. I want to thank all you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Nina, for your donation. I appreciate it. And for everybody else, You know, I appreciate you coming in here, and more than anything, I appreciate the communion you guys are having with each other. That's one of the things that's special. I find it all of my rooms, whether it's on TikTok, on YouTube, or whatever, is that my audience becomes the people who are caring, loving, connect. On my TikTok, we've actually met, and I've went to a couple places. We met and went. And my TikTok show was music, old school music. We went to Paisley Park a couple years back and had a wonderful time. Met some of the people there, and also last year we went to Atlanta and stayed on this, like, I don't know how many acres. It was like 10 something, 13 acres, whatever it was, land, and that was dope. We're supposed to do Tennessee, Texas this year. It depends, but I love how that brings family together and people who are wonderful people who care about not only themselves but others, who are giving, and I appreciate it 100% because that's what life is all about. It's a we thing, and in my rooms, it's a we thing. You rarely see people just me, and in my room, it's almost always people conversing with each other. It becomes a we process, and hopefully, that's something that the energy I bring, even though I go off on stupid stuff, but it's because it gets on my nerves to be lied to. But other than that, I appreciate you guys always coming and being a part of the conversation. So I'm gonna see some of you guys here tomorrow. Some of you may not be able to make it. I appreciate you coming and being a part of the show. All right, you guys have a great night. Be safe. Much love to you. Let's make America love again. I love that, Vera. That's it. I would love to meet all of you. It would be so awesome. It definitely would. In my rooms, I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. God is good. I just love the people in my room. People who come to my room, I guess the energy is love, and honesty and truth, facts. And I look at it this way: you only lie to people you don't like. You want to get over on something over on them, you lie to them. I can't look somebody in the face and just give them a lie. It's the utmost disrespect, and I wouldn't do that to people. I'd rather keep my mouth shut if I wasn't going to say anything at all. But facts is everything to me, and you'll see that. If I get them wrong, I don't get hurt. I'm human. I could have got a bad source, and if somebody gives me something else, hey, we're all in this so that we can be on the same plane, and that's the factual plane. And through facts, it's love. So you guys have a great evening. I'll see some of y'all tomorrow, and the others whenever you come back. All right? Take care. Much love, and I'll see you when I see you.